How's it going, everybody?
Yeah, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time zone you're in.
Yeah.
Well, we're just gonna give some people a few minutes to jump on, but in the meantime, we'd love to know where you're from. We're with Kalogon. This is all the TSMs for the
Finally
whole country together in one place.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be a special one since we're not all separated on screens. You'll get the view of all of us. But yeah, just let us know where you're from. I'm based in Melbourne, Florida, but I'm the West Coast sales manager for Kalogon. Andy,
Yeah, I'm
introduce
based in
yourself.
Atlanta and work in the Southeast, Midwest, and New England. I see you, Amber, from Charlotte. Welcome.
And I am Zach. I am based in Melbourne, Florida. I cover part of the East Coast, the Midwest, and yeah, I've been working with Kalogon for about 3.5 years now. And yeah, we're looking forward to meeting with you guys today and going over all of our products we have.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just gonna give some people a few minutes to jump on, but we'd love to know where you guys are from, and if you guys have any questions or anything. We're gonna be a little overview of Orbiter Classic, which was our first product out on the market, and then we'll go over Booster and Orbiter Med. But if there's anything specific you guys would like us to go over, just let us know. I know there's a poll and some questions that we'll be sending out during this, so just let us know. But we're happy you guys are here. This will also be posted on YouTube shortly after we're done going live, so you guys are able to rewatch it after the fact. So yeah.
And then please feel free to throw any questions in the chat throughout the live Q&A as well, and we'll make sure to answer them.
You guys have any trips coming up?
So I'm going to Idaho on Monday for the Norco conference. It's mostly ATPs and their clinicians. So very looking forward to that. I know we have a big in-service with them, and then I believe it's a one-day conference. So I'll be in Idaho starting on Monday.
Very
So
cool.
yeah. What about you, Andy?
I know I just got back from New Jersey for New York Abilities. It was a really great conference. I hope maybe some of you all decided to join us, but got to meet a lot of people in the tri-state area up there, so I had a really great time over the weekend. But don't have any travel coming up until, I guess, the beginning of June. We'll be in Philadelphia for the NSM show. What about you, Zach?
I will be heading out to Nashville next week for the new fair out in Nashville, and then we'll be going to Ohio for the Miller's Adaptive Show.
Oh, nice. We're all world travelers.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well,
Don't think anyone's chatting in, so if you guys want to go ahead and dive into the products, we can get going.
Yeah.
yeah. You want to start off with Orbiter Med or
Orbiter
Orbiter
Med?
Classic?
Yeah, we'll start with Orbiter Med. Yeah, so the Orbiter Med is our custom E2609 coated wheelchair cushion. And it kind of what sets it apart as a smart wheelchair cushion is that it's responsive and a forgiving seating experience. So let's see, I guess you have one right here with us. But I can hold this one maybe a little bit easier up to the camera. So not only does it have the customizations available with the air cells inside of it, it has five air bladders, but on the base, we are able to do a different, several different customizations to be able to really kind of get that custom seating experience. And on top of those is where the air bladders would be. And on top of that is an inch of foam, just for that immersion and comfort as well. But what really sets it apart, like I mentioned, is it's a smart wheelchair cushion. So it really is able to respond to any shifts in your weight. Like if you were to shift to your left or shift to your right, shift backwards, it's going to be able to detect that and be able to do little micro offloads and micro inflations to be able to accommodate for those shifts in your posture. Additionally, the advanced pressure management system is able to pick up any changes in your environment too. So if you're on a plane or if there's any changes in elevation, it will be able to pick up those changes as well and stay at those prescribed levels within our app. I think the thing that really sets us apart as well when it comes to our goal of preventing pressure injuries is our redistribution mode. And that's something else you can toggle on in our app, but that's where it's going to be able to go through the different air bladders and be able to cycle those the negative pressure to be able to really take away and then re-add on that pressure to let that blood flow in the seating area and be able to really help revasculate that tissue. So kind of combining those two things of, being able to really be a responsive seating environment, as well as one that can really kind of help you maintain that blood flow in the seating area to be able to really, prevent fatigue, increase comfort, but overall be able to help prevent those pressure injuries.
Awesome.
Yeah, and all that technology that Andy was talking about is going to be housed inside the control unit. So we do have a separate control unit which has the pumps, the sensors, the battery. Everything's going to be inside this, which gets mounted onto the back of your wheelchair underneath your manual chair. We 3D print the control unit as well as the mounts that we have, and then we also make a mount pouch, like a mini backpack for the control unit, and then this will always stay attached to the cushion and mounted onto the wheelchair. It has a 16 to 18 hour battery life, depending on the redistribution mode you select. So you can have it going every 2, 3, or 5 minutes, and that will vary on the battery life, but you always get that constant element of motion unless you have that function turned off in the app.
And then regarding customizations, I know Andy went over a little bit, but it starts off with, on the order form, it starts off with 1 inch of base foam. And then from there, you can build it up as custom as you want or as minimal as you want, depending on what cushion your client's currently on or what cushion anybody's on. So regarding customizations, you can do lateral thigh support, lateral pelvic support, a pre-ischial ridge, scrotal well, leg length discrepancy. You can also customize this hose length depending on what kind of chair you're mounting it on. And yeah, that's basically the overview of the customizations you can do. They're in 1 inch increments. So if you are a dealer or a clinician, the order form is online if you guys want to take a peek. Or we'll follow up with you guys and send that over to you after the live Q&A.
Yeah, we can also do a gluteal extension onto the Orbiter Med. So we do have extended sizes now available, so we can go from 15 inches all the way up to 27 inches in width or depth. And then we can add on up to 3 inches in a gluteal extension on the back of the cushion as well.
But I know Andy went over it a little bit as well. So for the covers, there's an external cover. This is machine washable on cold, and then you can let it air dry. And then every cushion comes standard with an incontinence cover. So there's a layer of sun-made viscoelastic foam that's sewn into the incontinence cover, just for layers of support and also to protect those air cells. They are pretty durable. The engineers did a lot of testing on them. So the only thing that could really hurt it is if it's like completely open and the cat gets in there or something crazy happens. But what's really neat is the control box will audibly and visually tell you if there's anything going on with your cushion that isn't supposed to be happening. So our main focus is to help influence posture, skin integrity, and then also compliance. And that ties in with both 3 products that we have on the market, which we can go over. Yeah, let's go over the app.
And I kind of touched on this a minute, but we can go ahead and kind of show the actual app itself. So each one of those air bladders is represented in that app. So you can click on them. That's the thighs on the top, ITs, and then the trochanters. And you can click on those, and you'll be able to adjust the pressure levels at the bottom. There'll be like a little bar. Let's see. There'll be a little bar on the bottom that you'll be able to adjust, and that would kind of bring the air out or add that air in to increase the firmness. Additionally, you'll see where the redistribution mode, where you can select that, and that's where you can select the 2, 3, or 5 minute option. And that's when you're going to really unlock the true power of the Orbiter Med and be able to really start pumping that air and increasing the vasculation of the tissue in there. And that's where also up at the top, you can save the presets as well, because each one of these levels, let me see if I can bring it a little closer. I guess you can see that. But each one of those presets, you can adjust. Oh, we got a notification. Each one of those presets, you can adjust and you can save. So if for example, if you want to be able to use your cushion with a specific pair of shoes, transferring, or if you want to use it for, just being able to kind of have different settings throughout the day, you can really have that extra level of control throughout the day at your fingertip.
So I know that was probably a lot of information. For the people that we do have online, do you guys have any questions or anything? Or yeah, I mean, we're here for you guys, so let us know if you have any questions along the way. But we also have Booster. So this is a separate product than Orbiter Med, Orbiter Classic. We can touch on that so you guys see like the first version of Orbiter. But they took the technology from Orbiter and put it into Booster. So this is for your single cell air cushions. So it'll manage and maintain the prescribed pressure that you set it at. So one of the biggest problems with single cell air cushions is the client goes home and their loved one or caregiver is like, oh, honey, your cushion looks low, I'm going to pump it up, and it ends up hurting them more than helping them. So with this device, it's meant to stay on there at all times. So what you would want to do is to completely open that valve, put this hose completely over the valve. This is a silicone tube, so it's very strong. But you can set it up 2 ways. So you can put it into clinician mode. You'd press down these 2 buttons for 3 to 5 seconds. And then the top button becomes a pump and the bottom button becomes a vent. It's meant to do one-handed while you guys are, the clinician or ATP is doing their 2-finger check. And then once that pressure is set, you can turn it back to like regular mode with pressing these 2 buttons down again, or just waiting for it to go out of clinician mode. But once that pressure is set, it will stay at that prescribed pressure through any leaks, any ambient pressure changes, any shifts. So that's one way you can set it up, or you can also connect it to your phone via Bluetooth. And this is what it looks like. So you would set that bar and then see the live pressure whenever you connect to your phone. So you can also pump it from empty. So if you have a new cushion and it's completely flat, you're able to do that manually, or you could do it through the phone app. So boosters neat. This is KL108. So this is the miscellaneous code. MSRP is $4.99, and then we do have contracts with dealers all over the country. So if you guys are interested in Booster, Orbiter Med, or Orbiter Classic, you can always reach out to us. We do not sell directly to consumers, so we would have to go through one of those dealers in your territory. But we do have reps all over the U.S. So if you guys ever want to see a product in person, the branch might have the product depending on where it's at, or we're able to put you in contact with those representatives.
Nice. Does anybody have any questions about the booster?
Yeah, I know we've given you a lot of information.
I know.
But do we have any?
You can absorb it.
Anyone still in the live audience?
Meditate on it. Anything.
Oh,
yep.
Dwayne Rhodes. It's one of our reps.
Yeah, we can kind of move on to the Orbiter Classic. So it's very similar. It's very similar to the Orbiter Med. Kind of similar technology, but it's really designed for comfort. And as you can see on the inside of it, it has a little bit less of the customization with that dense foam base. So it's a little bit more of just kind of a foam stack. So when ordering this, it's going to be a little bit more, dimensional rather than the different like contours. But still has the same air cell technology inside that is responsive to the user's change in their weight, a change in their posture, and change in their environment. And also, has a little bit more of a different profile as well. But this one is also E2610 coded, so it falls into a little bit different category than the Orbiter Med as well. So did you all have anything else you want to say about that?
For Orbiter Classic, the difference with the redistribution, so for the Classic, you can actually adjust the pressure in the thighs from like the left and right side, as well as get the pressure reliefs in the thighs, whereas Orbiter Med, the thighs will be at one set level, and then they don't do the pressure reliefs every 2 to 5 minutes.
And then also, this is our more off-the-shelf cushion, and this isn't as small as you can go. These are just baby demos. So for Orbiter Classic, we can go 15 by 15 all the way up to
27.
Yeah, 27. So yeah, this is more for comfort and skin integrity. This is one of the first this is the first product that came out with Kalogon. Tim and the founder's main focus was pressure injuries, so they went around to all the local therapists and created this technology. So this is the same technology that's inside of Orbiter Med, but like Zach said, the redistribution is a little bit different. So yeah, but this still connects to that same control box.
Same app as well.
The same app, yeah.
Same app for all 3 products. So if you just have to have one Kalogon app, and then you can connect to all 3.
And it's all connected by Bluetooth. So I could go throw my phone in the Banana River, and Zach could go in and connect on his phone as well. And then you don't have to have the app to, like, your settings are married to the control box, not your phone, if that makes sense.
And the app's not necessary for daily. So I know we talked a lot about the app and showed it a lot, but in reality, you could set it up one time and then never use the app again, or even get it delivered out of the box, not even use the app, and the cushion would work as it should.
Absolutely. Very cool. Well, I see we have 12 people live, so let's not be shy. Tell us where you're from. If you're a clinician, ATP. So how do you determine what level of pressure to put in each of the air cells? So that's a good question, Carla. So it comes with default settings that work with a variety of people. I mean, pressure mapping is always a great tool, but that is definitely we're not clinicians, so we can't tell you like what set pressure to have in there. But that's definitely a question for your clinicians if they do have a pressure map, or if you have existing postural asymmetries or like pelvic obliquity, that's really determined on your ATP and your clinician. And we're able to educate them like on the pressures and what that does, but that is definitely a question for your clinician or ATP.
And then Amber, lots of lack of tech and no Wi-Fi. Yeah, so Amber, for the Wi-Fi issue, you don't have to be connected to Wi-Fi at all to use the cushion or the app. So I could throw my phone in airplane mode, and then I'd still be able to connect to the cushion and adjust the settings. So you wouldn't be stuck not being able to adjust your settings inside your control unit if you were even on an airplane. If you were in the middle of the desert with no service at all, you would still be able to connect and adjust your settings.
Yeah, you would only need Wi-Fi to update the app and update the firmware on the system, but that's
with any app.
Something you need to do all the time.
Absolutely. Oh, Anna's from California. Hi, Anna. My name's Penelope. Washington State. Nice, Dwayne. I was just with you. So Dwayne Rhodes, he's in the audience. He's one of our representatives in Washington with the Bruce group. So if you are in Washington, get his number through the chat. I'm just kidding.
So does anyone have any questions? I appreciate the interaction in the chat now.
I think there's one. Yeah, so Zach went over that briefly. So depending on what redistribution mode you're on, the battery life will vary. So it's 16 to 18 hours. It usually takes about 4 hours to get a fully charged. What I think is really cool is that even if you put in the control box, it will, like some people ask, like, oh, only 4 hours. Once it's fully charged, the control box will shut off. Like there will be an amber light once you plug it in, and then when it's fully charged, the amber light will turn off and it won't like overheat or anything. I feel like I get that question a lot.
Yeah. Carla asked, Andy, I know you got a good question this weekend at the Abilities Expo about comfort. Want to share some of the ideas you had?
Yeah, so we were talking about for folks when they're kind of assessing the cushion, kind of what the degree of comfort and like how to be able to like measure that in person for those who don't have sensation. And we talked about earlier with the 2-finger test. We discussed a couple of other options of being able to make sure maybe like the cushion itself is level on each side. You can either use like a level or a ruler. There was a couple of other ways that we discussed it. I'm trying to remember them off the top of my head now, but additionally, there was the opportunity for somebody to be able to sit on the cushion for a period of time and be able to kind of assess their response to it. Since with our cushion, it can lead to their skin can react to it in different ways, and you can see that visibly, as well as their body overall can react to it as well. So if there's an area where if they're sitting in and they're not feeling sensation, they could maybe start feeling some soreness or some pains like elsewhere throughout their body. So that was kind of, I thought was a really interesting way that we could kind of assess the comfort for those, in an instance where we don't have pressure mapping, or maybe the pressure map isn't, a suitable fit for them.
Interesting. Very
interesting. Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Especially nice. the ruler idea. I'd love to.
Yeah. I like the leveler.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Because we had somebody ask about like, okay, so if I don't pressure map, how do you do it? And I was like, oh, that's a good question. And we talked a little bit with Kelly about it, going through some of that. But I think
because sometimes you'll have like the cases where like we'll have pressure higher on one side for the obliquities and stuff. So
I think it's just it's one of the options.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
I saw a question.
Less clear when we would want to pick one over the other. What kinds of patients? Public obliquity adjustments, foam enhancements. So Dwayne's asking about So Dwayne, for pelvic obliquities, it's going to vary depending on the obliquity, obviously. But you'd be able to adjust the bladders in the end of the ITs as well as on the lateral pelvic supports to adjust for obliquities. And then right now we don't have any foam enhancements we are currently doing for like cutting out underneath. That's when we use the air bladders to make those adjustments to accommodate for those asymmetries. Booster with Roho Smart Check. So Zach, no, Booster wouldn't work in like with Smart Check. You'd have to take the Smart Check off and then place the booster on there and use the booster as its own device, because the booster will always stay attached to your Roho. And the booster attaches through the open through the air hose on your Roho, and it just attaches with our attachment right here. Just slides right over.
Yeah,
the
and then there's
valve.
also a clip on the back.
Yeah.
For mounting and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Amber, I'm assuming you're talking about Orbiter Med versus Orbiter Classic. So Orbiter Classic is more for comfort and support, where Orbiter Med is to help influence their posture and skin integrity. So, I mean, it depends on the patient it depends on a lot of things. If they have existing pressure injuries, and then also they have to be able to qualify for E2609.
Another thing too, because Orbiter Classic will accommodate for pressure injuries. So, we still have case studies where Orbiter Classic, like all our case studies are done on Orbiter Classic with the pressure injury management. So it's a great question. So if you have both of them, we recommend, doing a mapping, comparing the two different cushions and seeing if your patient would better benefit on, a more of a custom configured cushion or more of our off-the-shelf, more forgiving cushion. So we just recommend doing an evaluation to see which cushion would be best in that case. It's kind of hard to tell case by case. So we've had people with similar body situations, one benefit more on Orbiter Classic and one benefit more on Orbiter Med. So it's just a tough one to really nail it down.
Yeah, but good questions overall. Thank you guys for.
Yeah, we got you guys.
Yeah,
we got you guys going the last few
minutes.
minutes
Yeah, that's good.
And Dwayne, just following up your foam enhancements, if you did have a case where, like, say you needed them to, like, build up foam under a certain area, just give Penelope a call and she can talk with the engineers and we can see if we can make it work. Just always make sure to reach out to your independent or to your TSM to see if you can do those customizations, because a lot of time the team is able to do things like that. So just always reach out.
Just give me a call.
I keep putting in two different areas. So coverage and reimbursement. So for the Orbiter Med, it is E2609 coded. So we are seeing great reimbursement across, most states across the country. So as long as you're seeing reimbursement with your other E2609 code, you'd be seeing the same for Orbiter Med. And then for Classic, it's E2610 coded. So I think there's like 10 states across the country that really recognize that code and give proper reimbursement. So we're seeing the Orbiter Classic be a lot more of like a VA type product. Med is kind of taking over more of our non-VA sales.
And then we also have LMN guides, Amber. I don't know if you're a clinician or ATP, but we can send that over to you. We do have a clinical consultant. Her name's Kelly Wall. So if you have a patient in mind, and it's a harder case, just let us know and we're able to put with her.
Because reimbursement has been going, I think, pretty good across the board. Mm-hmm. We haven't heard of really many states where they're not getting reimbursed once they get quoted out.
Yeah, especially in North Carolina and South. But we've had some success there.
Oh, nice. She's bold. That's awesome. What clinic are you at, or what branch? Oh, she's in North Carolina, South Carolina. That's fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was up at Atrium in Concord. I guess that was last week, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're right in her backyard.
Yeah.
Smart. A smart check, Roho. Okay.
So no, Zach. So we don't, we don't ever recommend like pairing the two. I guess we haven't had anyone ask that question, but typically, if you have, you wouldn't need smart check because your booster is going to constantly manage and maintain your set pressure. So I would just recommend, attach the booster on the valve where you would be adding air in, and then always leave that attached there. You wouldn't have to use your smart check once you have the booster involved at all.
Yeah.
Do you currently have a booster? Are you interested in getting one? Because we can follow up offline too to answer your questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you wouldn't have to use them together. It would be one or the other. Because the booster always stays attached to your Roho 24/7. So you wouldn't want to take it off to use the smart check.
Yeah, Zach, if you're connected to the app and you use the app, you're also able to see and set that pressure like a smart check would. Like it gives you like a concrete
because
number.
A smart check's relative, yes, like in the green value,
right?
Not relative to that patient. Where a booster, you would go in with your clinician, set the pressure exactly to what you needed it to be for your body type, and that would always manage and maintain your pressure. So even if it noticed that you were out and about and like something popped your Roho, the booster would tell you leak detected, but then keep you properly inflated to your clinically set level. So you wouldn't have to add the smart check in to make sure the Roho's or the booster is working because it's always going to maintain and manage your set pressure.
Yeah.
And then you can visually see that through the phone app as well.
I mean, I guess you could use it if you wanted to, but if
you would be taking the booster off, which would take the air, let the air out,
right?
And then it wouldn't be an accurate value. So I wouldn't recommend that. And then Carla responded up there. Upper med, pretty strong contour, horizontal map. So yeah, Amber. So this one is a little bit more contoured than other ones. We can fully customize it. So if you needed someone with the very minimally contoured, we can almost make it as flat looking as this like little mini guy, where it's just like we can do 1-inch customizations on all the different components, and then to hit the E2609 code, you just have to have 2 of the 4 options. So you could have nothing on the front, have a 1-inch lateral pelvic support in the preischial ridge, and you would still hit the code.
Or even 1-inch lateral thighs, 1-inch lateral pelvic.
Yeah, so it's going to be very minimal, and then you'll be able to hit the code. So it really does vary, especially with the mapping. Because with the mapping, we can further customize it with our phone app. So we have seen it map extremely well. We typically map it on every delivery cushion across the board. Great question.
So like Zach said, though, you can change it in real time.
Yeah.
So you can go into the app and change the aerosol pressures. One thing I have seen is turning off that redistribution mode to get like a stagnant setting really does help. So that could just be a pointer whenever you are pressure mapping. But yeah, great questions, guys. It's awesome.
And Zach, I think I still have your contact info from back in the day, so I'll make sure we reach out to you. Andy's now the rep for New York, so he'll be in touch. But we will be in touch with you.
Yeah. Well, I know we only have about 2 minutes left, and we really appreciate everybody's questions. Does anybody else have any questions before we have to log off? But we will reach out and send follow-up emails. So if you guys ever want to have like a one-on-one meeting with us and answer any questions you may have, just let us know and we can definitely schedule that.
And then our socials and all our contact info will be in the chat as well. Like our Instagram and everything, our journal tissue viability, as well as some other article links.
Order form.
And then we have some like YouTube videos, some fun TikTok links on there. And this is our contact info up top.
It's fun. We usually stay pretty active on social media, so you'll see like new updates on where we're going and pictures and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely follow those accounts because it's cool to see how much the marketing team and engineering is doing.
No, Zach. So when we use the booster, we recommend that you and your clinician would go set up the air pressure that you would need inside in your Roho, save the pressure using the booster, and then you never have to use a smart check. Again, smart check just tells you that relative value that's not specific to your body type. It's just like that range being yes and no, like full or not full.
Yeah.
So we recommend using the booster independent of the smart check, and then fully setting the pressure with your clinician, doing the 2-finger check, saving the pressure, and then never having to take the booster off. So you wouldn't have to use a smart check initially at all, no. Because you can fill up your Rojo completely flat using the booster as well.
Yeah.
So we'll follow up and answer some more questions offline. But no, you wouldn't have to use a smart check at all.
All right, cool. Well, thank you guys for coming. We really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions or anything, our emails are in the chat. But yeah, till next time, till next month.
Sweet. Thank you
But
guys.
thank you guys.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the questions.